Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Welcome if you are watching the VOD. Let me introduce myself real quick. I'm Ashley, a character and creature concept artist, sculptor in general, artist in general. I like to mess around spheres on this channel. So basically what we do is we treat these sessions kind of like a sketchbook, but inside of ZBrush. So we're going to be taking a sphere, making it a whole bunch of random shapes from the sphere, just messing it around a whole bunch. And then we will try to find something from that kind of chaotic mess that we make. And it's a great exercise to allow yourself to be loose and just have fun with the process of sketching and not being tied down by technicalities or anything like that. So this isn't for a pipeline specific of any kind. It's quite literally just have fun with it. And if you end up liking what you're doing at the end, then of course you could always refine and optimize that sculpt, that sketch to be something for whatever pipeline that you might have going, be it games, print, you know, film and TV, whatever you might have in mind. You could always optimize what you're doing, right? So we're not thinking about any of that. We're just kind of having fun with it right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions as we're going, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we're just gonna do stuff. Hey, Aswario, how are you? How's it going? How goes? All right, one sec. I need to do the thing that flies do with their hands, but with moisturizer before I start every single time. Yes. Hello, Girth. It's so funny because this is like a professional channel, and you guys with your usernames sometimes, you come in here, and I just have to be like professionally, yes. Hello, username Great White Girth. Do you have a question? Oh my god. Okay. Alright. Done being a fly. Let's get going. Let's mess up the sphere. So we have no plans as usual. We're just gonna mess it up. Whoa. What's going on with my stylus right now? That might be a problem. You know what? I'm gonna have to like restart this really quick just because that might be an issue. 1 second, I'll be right back with this. We don't want that to be a problem. Alrighty, we start the stream and then we immediately have a problem. That's how it is. Alright, tell me you're working now. Put this back on. Alright. Yeah, we're good now. Sometimes that happens with my Cintiq, where I have to just like restart programs. It's not just ZBrush specific. I have to like restart a program because the right click is just kind of like freaks out. Alright, so we're good now. Anytime you have a problem, always try reset first. This sphere doesn't want to get de-sphered. It's too bad. It's too perfect. I was saying this in the other stream. Spheres like this, I don't think they exist like that in real life. All right, let's get her done. We could probably, I mean, you could use them. Okay, I'm just gonna. Woo. We like to do some like crazy masks, and then pulling. And we can inflate some stuff. Kind of looks like Big Bird. Give it a little bit more juice. Can go over here, do a bend curve on this guy. Well, maybe not a bend curve, sorry. Let's do a bend arc. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Get some kind of like an interesting Yeah, I think I like it when it was more like down. So we're just like looking for some crazy kind of shapes. That could be neat. Say accept. Kind of like this thing right here, just kind of coming out on the sides. I will mirror and weld this just to ensure that it is symmetrical. To grab the sides here. Pull them out. What version of ZBrush do I use? The most recent version. So 2026. Some AccuCurve. Pull these guys back. See what we can do. This. Dun, dun. Hi James, how's it going? Hi Victor. All right. And then here we could probably do some kind of, I like how this is like an interior, like it's got like a beak and then sort of like, you know how like turkeys have that thing on top. Really do something interesting here with that. Boom, 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 boom. That in more. I think this down here we could like push back. Yeah, I like this thing. I like as a kind of like beak. Like play with the shape a little bit better. And this whole section right here, maybe we can do something a little bit more interesting with that. Maybe I'll like spiral it around or something. Watching and learning. Yeah, we're just sketching though, right? It's good if you try out some of this stuff yourself. So everybody will have their own unique little designs that they can make from like, you know, a really chaotic bunch of stuff like this. Again, I'm just looking at shapes and stuff right now, so we haven't really like decided on what this thing is even gonna be. It's like cloud watching, you know? But you're making the clouds yourself. I appreciate that, Leon. If you do have any questions as I'm going, please feel free to ask them. Like, it's open floor right now. I'm just sculpting and answering questions. It's kind of why I'm here. Not to really like finish pieces or anything like that, but rather to help you if you have questions about ZBrush. Hi, Maddie. My loose style. Did you have any problems transferring your hotkeys, custom layout, etc. from your previous ZBrush version since they changed the folder? No, I didn't have any issues. It didn't appear automatically. I had to like go and push them into the new folders, but I didn't have any problems. I usually, like, just for the sake of it, I usually keep all of my stuff. Like, if I have a, you know, I have my custom UI, I have my custom hotkeys, and a bunch of my custom brushes, I actually have a separate folder that I just keep updating with all of the stuff that makes my personal ZBrush. So even if I had to, like, move PCs or something like that, that one folder is an easy transfer over for me. Does that make sense? So it just kind of keeps it cleaner. I have like a literal like resources folder just for that kind of stuff, and then I don't have to always rely on something, you know, oh, it's inside of the ZBrush directory only, and then you're like, which version was that? Like, where did I save that last Z script? Where did I save that last brush? Etc, etc. Yeah, and then like this whole like piece right here, probably do something kind of fun with that. Hi, Seer. How are you doing? An exhibition stall modeling ever? Like, you mean like at a convention? I've never done that with my sculpts, no. That'd be pretty cool, but no, I've never had the pleasure. Okay, this one. I'm gonna just quickly delete that because I did not select that the way that I wanted to. Okay, there now. Split the masked. That should be fine. Yep. This one, I want to bring it up too. Let's try that. I should try it once. Well, I mean, I would have to, I would actually have to like 3D print a whole bunch of stuff, etc., etc. It's not as simple as maybe some people might make it out to look online. There's a lot of planning that goes into going to conventions and things. Like, some people are very good at making it look totally effortless, but there's a lot of planning that goes into that stuff. Hi, Victor. So I don't understand. I'm not sure if you can give me a translation of what you're asking. Living with a living with a dog means you're always gonna have like dog hairs like flying and just like resting on your Cintiq as you're working. It's just like shedding. Yeah, just freehanding right now, looking for shapes. Looking for some cool abstract shapes and then going from there. Oh my goodness. Did you do a shake, buddy? I think he did a shake. Hairs. Can dynamesh this one. That might be a little too high. Can try that. Dog cotton candy, pretty much. It's just like, it's everywhere. Take a toy. You have to spend so much effort to keep cat fur out from under your iPad screen protector, and someone found it. Yeah, no, I know. It gets everywhere. Especially on the days where it's like, there's like low humidity in the air, and the static is like super staticky. It just gets airborne. It is a very staticky day. Hey Sonic, how's it going? Have you ever used the dreaded B word? Yes, I have used Blender. In terms of like sculpting, ZBrush is a very specialized program, so it is, in my opinion, a lot more robust when it comes to the whole sculpting aspect of things. It's not a full 3D suite, so it's not like you can animate and do all of these kinds of things like rig and stuff inside of ZBrush, but when it comes to the actual sculpting part of it, getting things to be higher fidelity and just basically just being able to handle a whole bunch of polygons really easily, ZBrush, it's just better for sculpting. Like doing this kind of stuff in Blender, it would it's kind of a slog, because the thing is, ZBrush uses a 2.5D system, so you're not technically seeing a true 3D representation of what you're doing, but you can still use it as a 3D model. Like you can still export it as a 3D model afterwards. Yeah, pets are great despite their shedding. We love them, but it keeps landing on my Cintiq and I have to keep brushing them off today. But yeah, thank you. Snakehook is one heck of a fun brush to use. Highly recommend. And if you don't put AccuCurve on, in the brush menu, we scroll to curve right here in under brush. Click that, and then AccuCurve. If you put this onto either your move brush or your Snakehook brush, that button will essentially just, it'll allow you to pull like this, like really sharp points, whereas if I were to turn it off, you don't get a sharp point. So if you want like the really sharp points, I find that's really nice for like, you know, controlling like hard surface like angles and things like that, or just getting like really strong curves. Tried to do some stylized hair inside of ZBrush, but you found out it's easier for you in Blender. Yeah, I mean, whatever works for you. Honestly, whatever works for you. But I, like, personally, like, I do a lot of my stylized stuff, like, just within ZBrush. So, whatever works for you. I find that people that might be coming from, like, a strictly modeling background with not a lot of, I guess, experience inside of like with sculpting itself, because they're two different things. Sculpting is not the same as 3D modeling. You take a sculpt and then you can create it and optimize it into a 3D model, but the sculpt itself is you're doing something freeform, right? Whereas like modeling, which I also do, is a lot more, you're thinking a lot more, I guess, like technical, like right out the gate, and especially box modeling. So if you're thinking in terms of like just extrusions and, you know, pulling things along like a curve that you pull out on like a Bezier curve or whatever it is that you're making your hair, yeah, that can definitely change how you approach things. For me, when I'm doing any kind of hair, be it stylized or realistic, I will usually start with some kind of a sculpt base just so that I can get the volumes the way that I want it. I will quite literally sculpt it out the same way that you would like draw something or whatever. Like I would actually be sculpting it, and then from there, then I will guide my tubes, etc. So I don't usually like start just straight out modeling something. I will usually start from a sculpt, but everybody does things differently. Like it depends on what it is that you're going for and what pipeline you're working in. But this is just, we're just sketching, so. And yeah, like there are actually really easy ways to manipulate a hair strand. So here, I'll give you an example, because I think maybe you might just be doing it like, you know, oh, grab like your tube and then you pull it around and now you're trying to like manipulate like this. I really don't recommend that. That's not like the greatest way to do anything with the tubes and the curves in general. What you can do is, let's say, like with the curve, let's do extrude profile. We got to come up here to stroke, curve functions. No. Curve right here, turn off the repel. And then I'm just going to make it like a straight thing, like as line. Pull it down, just straight down, like so. I'm going to split that off. And then right here, this is the interesting part, is you don't need a curve to start to control this. You can actually use modifiers. So if you're not familiar with ZBrush's modifiers, they're accessible through this gear icon with the gizmo. And you can actually do things with the bend curve. So if you click bend curve, you can see these little dots appear, and you can start moving your geometry with the bend curve. You can take this yellow or orange cone, and some people will be frustrated with the cone system, but once you get used to it, it's actually pretty good. And you can pull out the cone, so you have this middle one, you can have a few more, etc. And then you can even like move it like in a general thing, and then you can actually do this right here and it'll follow the curve that you've already created, and you can just keep adjusting this as you wish. And there's a scaling function here, there's a squeeze function, and there's also a twist function. So if I go back, right, you can even come down to like this one and you can say twist, twist, and then continue moving it. And now you have a twisty piece of hair, right? And you can control all of these things very easily with the ZBrush modifiers if you just know what to look for and what you're doing. Because it's not exactly the same as a 3D software, but honestly, once you understand that it's a different logic, it's quite intuitive. Like personally, I find it actually to be quite intuitive. It just, you kind of have to get through that barrier of like, I expect it to be this way, so it needs to be this way. And then once you let go of that and you're like, okay, so what is the logic here? Like, oh my God, these hairs. Then it actually becomes pretty great. So I personally love it, but everybody's gonna have their own ways of doing things. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the reason, Leon, because it's a 2.5D program. So there are aspects of it where, you know, like basically this is a 3D sculpt, like it's a 3D object, but it is being represented in a 2.5D way, right? So your computer isn't like keeping track of everything, like from the back from the back of it to the front of it, etc. I don't know exactly how it works. I'm not going to pretend like I do. I just know that it is very CPU and actually GPU. ZBrush barely uses the GPU. So most of this is CPU performant, and it's quite good. So you can actually go up to like 100 million polygons and still be able to like rotate around and sculpt on it like very responsively. Whereas imagine you had inside of a 3D suite the 100,000 polygons in any of them, right, with a true 3D object, and you tried to do anything on that 100 million polygons or even just rotate around. Your GPU is being utilized in most 3D suite softwares. Am I traditionally a film or games artist? Film and TV, in the animation industry mostly. Hi, Lex. The secrets of sculpting fur, especially mid-short hair, you can't sculpt. You can sculpt anything like a pro except for fur. So fur, it can be a little bit tricky. Again, it depends on the style that you're going for. If you're doing something a little bit more realistic, then... And it also depends on, like, what creature you're talking about, too. So, there's a couple of things that you can use that are already inside of ZBrush. So, inside of the chisel creature, or is it chisel organic? Let's just take a look at both of these. So these are brushes that ship with ZBrush. There's a few things in here called VDMs. VDMs essentially are like alphas, except it's a 3D. It's a 3D alpha. So it records the underside of whatever it is that you pull out as well. So that's very useful for if you wanted to pull out fur and things like that and not keep it flat on your model. Let's see. I think that they actually have a fur one. I'm not sure if it's in this one. Yep, there's a couple of fur things in here, right? So you could play around with these. They just look like... Okay, let me give this a little bit more juice. You need a lot of resolution in order for this to actually pull out like that. There's a couple of them in here that you could play around with, right? Different styles. They're all different styles. Otherwise, for sculpting fur, you kind of have to really break down your reference. So if you're talking about short dog fur, an example of short dog fur that I had done, let me grab something really quick. Let me open it up. I did... Let me find it. All right, here. So when I was sculpting this guy, this is for print, right? This was for a gift for somebody in our family. But essentially you can see here how I was insinuating where, and again, this is dependent on the style that you're going for and what the purpose is. Because this was print, like FDM print, I was considering not like super deep overhangs where it would be hard to get in and clean it up and things like that. Now this is a shorter hair dog, but if you look at, like, you know, the references that you are dealing with, a lot of the times the fur kind of conjoins in certain areas. So think about the fur kind of creating these 3D shapes, and don't think of it as a single piece of like all of these like individual little hairs coming out. Think of them as like big pieces and then cut them up afterwards, right? So this was like one whole big piece, and then you can kind of start cutting them out. And then one big piece right here, right? Like this. And then you can cut it. And then because he's so short hair, you just kind of do a pattern on the rest of it. Now, if you're talking about, like, And then there, you know what? I started yesterday. I just started sketching a cat. Well, I'll show you that because I can't think off the top of my head all these files that I have on my computer. I have lots of fur that I've done, but just for an example, I did a cat and I started doing the hair. So this is like the beginning process of that. If that will open. Cat, hello? No? Hold on. Let me, I think I gotta, wait. Unless, did I open it already? No, it's not. Okay, one sec. I gotta open it. So this one's a little bit longer, but you can see how I'm starting to create that flow, that same flow. If I turn this off, it'll be easier to see. So as I'm sculpting it, I'm thinking, okay, so, you know, you just start building up with the clay brush, the clay build-up brush. Oh, we're getting that same issue again. I'm gonna have to restart this. So you start to build up, right? And then in certain areas, you can mask out, invert it. Okay, I don't know why my right click is freaking out today. And then you can just kind of pull them out a little bit. And then you can do that like per piece, like pull, 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 pull. So you think about them in terms of flow and big pieces, right? Does that make sense? I'm gonna have to save this and restart ZBrush again because I think there's something wrong. An update happened with Windows and my right click with my Cintiq has been freaking out, so. Give me a sec. Let me save this and I'll just do a quick reset. No, gotta come back. All right. Hopefully that's fine. Yep, we're good again. You don't like dogs? Well, the thing is, like, I understand some people are afraid of dogs, but problem is like a lot of people don't know the cues that dogs give. They become a lot less scary, and you're like, oh yeah, they're not gonna bite you if you start to understand why they make the faces that they do, or that maybe, you know, the wagging tail doesn't always mean happy. Sometimes it means appeasement, and they don't actually, they just want space, you know. But I understand that, you know, you have a bad experience, and like when I was younger, I got bit by a horse because I wasn't told to hold my hand flat when they were telling me to feed the horses when I was really young, and the horse just bit really hard on my hand, and I think I was like bleeding, and I was traumatized as a child, right? And for a while I was really scared of horses, but then I got around them a little bit more. I was like, oh yeah, if you hold your hand flat, it'll be okay. That explains a lot. Aw, thanks, dude. Thanks. Fur was a nightmare, so you bought dedicated fur brush. If that works for you, then that's great. Your fear of dogs is not about their aspects, something different from that? Alright, well, sorry that you're afraid of them. I love my puppy. I love Monty. Monty's a good boy. Let's do... Superman also disliked horses for a while. He was scared of horses too. Hell yeah. I'm like, yeah. I'm from planet Krypton. To be fair though, like I blame my fear on the lack of like the instructor at the time of that camp, like telling me to hold my hand flat. Like they quite literally just was like, here, food. And I was like, I must have been like 7. So obviously no brain cells at all. And I was just like, horse, horse. And they went, last 1 week, every night you have a nightmare about them? What? You're that scared? I feel like if you're that disturbed by dogs that it's disrupting your sleep, you should probably go and talk to somebody about that. Especially if they're not in, like, your life at all. That doesn't sound very good. Your last attempt was on a proto-feathers, so almost like a body covered with very small, thin leaves, and indeed, it was a nightmare. There was like a lot of like tiny leaves like overlapping each other, you're saying? I mean, like, in that case, you could even do something like that, like with a texture. Hey, peace. No, I kind of like the idea of like these things right here being like the eyes. It's almost like a little bit like a bony stalk coming out from the beak structure. That's actually kind of cool. That's gonna look kind of cool. Yeah, I could do something with that. I like that. Alright, see ya, Kitoy. Thanks for dropping by. I'm glad you like the streams. That's great. I'm glad that those were helpful tips. Client likes it. You know what? At the end of the day, if you're doing something for a client and the client likes it, then just job done. You're okay. Don't beat up on yourself. You could do better for your own projects. You know, you learn. It's okay. I've been there. There's so many things that I've submitted that I'm like, you know, they were over the moon on that, and I just feel like I coulda, woulda, shoulda on a couple of things, but you only have so much time in the day. You can't be perfect all the time, and that bar is gonna constantly be going up. So you might think what it is that you did now is not like the greatest, but talk to yourself 2 years ago and show them this, you know, that version of you, what you did now, and you'll understand what I mean by the bar is just gonna keep going up. So the client likes it, you did a good job. Good job. Do I also model in Blender? I don't actively model in Blender, but I have used Blender, yes. let's do something with this guy. Wait, you know what? I'm gonna just like, okay, just so I have like max control over this, I'm gonna take this whole bottom piece. I'm gonna split it off. This song always freaks me out when it does that like vacuum sound. It's so loud for no reason. Like, damn, aren't we like chill stepping right now? Why are we freaking out? Hey Leonard, how are you? How's it going? How long have I been modeling? You're 2 weeks and only can make a remote control. Oh yeah, dude, I've been going at it for over a decade now. Don't you worry, you'll get there. Remote is a good place to start. Ooh, my goodness. Oh my goodness. With the sneezing and the hair flying and everything is happening today, I'm not gonna get annoyed. I'm not gonna get overstimulated. I'm gonna be normal. I'm gonna be very normal about the many things happening. Thank you. Hey John, what's up? How are you? Oh. Seeing me live on the front page of YouTube? Oh yeah, probably because it's like recommends. Or like you're probably subbed to Maxon. So then you get to see. Get to see anytime somebody's live. Which, if anybody is not subbed to Maxon, lots of other really talented artists that stream here. This isn't my channel. Don't think I want this area attached. I'm gonna pull it down though. Big smooth bone, so I'll take like this whole bit on the top. Hey, Graham. More serious vibes? You want bring? It's, you know what? You can bring up your peanut butter drives as much as you want. It's not super serious, but I mean, I'm not gonna be saying any of this like odd sus stuff that you're up to. I'm not gonna be repeating that. Like, I don't want to know what you're doing with the peanut butter, if that makes any sense. Do we like make it real big? Eh. Does Monty like peanut butter? He's okay about it. He doesn't go crazy about peanut butter. Not like John. Cause like when he was younger, so I used peanut butter when he was younger to get him used to taking baths. And so eventually he linked taking baths with like peanut butter being smeared on the bathtub. And he was just like, you know what? I actually don't really like peanut butter. Because it means bath. So now when I try and give him peanut butter, he's kind of like, what are you doing? I don't know. But also, he has a smaller tongue now, so it's very frustrating for him. Like, it gets stuck. Like, it's sticky. So then he's just constantly, like, you know, trying to get it off of the roof of his mouth. It's not a fun time. Peanut butter is sus. You would know. You would know all about that, wouldn't you, John? A long time since you had peanut butter. I have it very frequently, actually. Peanut butter banana. Classic dog behavior. Your dog hated baths, but was the first to run into any lake, river, or puddle. Mine is... he just doesn't like water. Monty does not like water. He's never liked water. He will not go into the water. Like, water phobic. But then again, like, Monty just doesn't like a lot of things. He's a very particular dog. dedicating this sculpt to the Ostrich Festival this weekend. Oh, the Ostrich Festival! How could I forget about the Ostrich Festival? Yes, this is very much dedicated to the Ostrich Festival. Where are we talking about exactly? What ostrich? Do I have any particular animal in mind? Bird-like head, but antlers and a deer body. Yeah, I mean, like, it just kind of starts coming to you as you're going. Like, certain shapes will look like certain things. And from that, you just kind of start adjusting your anatomy based on what feels right. So right now, yeah, like I was just thinking a little bit more deer. Just a little bit. Hi Alakazam, how's it going? Out in the deserts of Arizona, you have the Ostrich Festival. I'm very well aware of that. Yes, actually, yes. Yes, and this is very much dedicated to that, for sure. Definitely. No, yeah, I'm just sculpting from memory right now. Just for fun, we're just sketching. So, if you did end up liking any of the sketch that you do in this kind of, just from this, sort of way of doing things, you can always reference and make things a lot better than if you don't have any reference, right? But we're just having fun. Bling, it's gonna bling. You forget about reference sometimes. Yeah, I mean, it's if you want to get better, you got to use it, right? But it's when you're referencing too much though, you stop being as loose. So it's good to kind of put it away sometimes. Especially for concept. In the early stages, and then when you start to nail what it is that you're looking for, then you reference even harder and make sure that everything is anatomically correct, and you know, you're doing something more cultural, you're not off the deep end with it. Yeah, I was thinking a little bit more like it's got like a bit of like a hump going on here. Just kind of trying to balance. Oh my god, the hair. Oh my god, the hair. What's the difference between snake hook and move? Snake hook is sort of a freeform, like you can keep dragging it and there's no real end point, like you just keep going and going and going. If I were to take this and I just like snake hooked it, I can just keep going if I wanted to, which allows you to make all kinds of really crazy shapes. The move brush has a definite fall off, right? Where you can't pull as much. So if you struggle with the navigation inside of ZBrush still, then you might want to have something a little bit less crazy. Like the move brush is very good for very precise, smaller movements. For me, I'm just like used to using the snake hook. Snake hook does both, but move brush is kind of like, it'll truncate that for you, so you don't have to worry about it going too crazy. I'm thinking like, what if it's more of like a bounce, leaps. Oh. Snake hook isn't necessarily sharp. You actually are just seeing me pull things with the AccuCurve on. They both have the same, like, basically move brush pulls things to a termination point on a linear scale, whereas the snake hook brush pulls things indefinitely on an exponential scale. That's the difference. Hi, Flop. Where's it going? What's it going? How's it going? Hold on, guys. My nose is driving me crazy. One sec. I'm having a day today. You can do lots with a sphere. You can do lots. Just, you gotta make sure to break that fear of a blank canvas. The second you break the blank canvas, like, chokehold, becomes a whole lot easier. That's why it's nice to just kind of start messing things around. Hey, Toy Maker. Going to bed soon? You just wanted to say hi? Yeah, that's all good, man. It's all good. You were here for the cat bat? Oh, thanks. Yeah, I was tired of that stream, though. So it's all good. I'm sure you're tired as heck over there. Thanks for saying hi, though. I hope everything's good. They went away? You don't know how that works? Your body kind of like switches it up every 7 years or so. Like, you can acquire a new allergy at any time. It's super cool, super cool of our bodies to do that. You know? Body would be like, yeah, these proteins are totally fine. And then all of a sudden, you turn 25 or 30 or whatever, and then your body's like, actually, I hate these proteins. And you're gonna suffer for it. Like, okay, I guess we're just gonna discriminate against random proteins now. Thanks, body. Like, you know, in our regular lives, we're just like, hey, let's be accepting. Let's not do the ist things. Don't be ist. And then our bodies are like, yeah, except unless it's like a protein, a foreign protein, then we're very ist to get, you know, it's just like, body. Wrong things to attack. Like, the dog hair is not gonna kill you, bro. It's fine. Body thinks it might. Body thinks it might. Anytime there's like a big change in like a weather shift, yeah, the allergies can they can kick in. It's a lot worse now than they ever used to be, but well, a lot worse. Like, it's manageable. Some days it's like horrid, just because I have dog allergies on top of that, but usually it's like super manageable, and I've got like, I don't have to take allergy medicine like every day or anything like that, but I do get itchy and sniffly. Let's get some toes in here. Some toes. Yeah, you guys can name the creature. What do you want it to be? Who is she? I am allergic to Monty. It's the saliva. And he drools a lot. It's not like the end of the world. It does get me itchy. Like, anytime I'm playing with him, I like get like red all over my arms and stuff. It's not like a horrible allergy. It's just some days can be worse than others. Because it's like extra dog. Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. I wouldn't give them up for the world. Like, it's not like I'm dying from my allergies. My body just needs to chill out some days. Everyone you invite over is allergic to cats. Yeah, yeah. Well, they're like a really common allergy because of their dander. Like, I find like when cats are younger, a lot of people aren't like allergic to kittens usually. It's when they get to a certain age where it's just like they're dandering a lot. You can see it in their fur. That's when it gets like brutal. But otherwise, because it's like the protein that's in the skin, right? The dead skin. It's like a divine curse. Yeah, because like when I got Monty, and I lived with dogs my whole life and I was fine. That's what I'm saying is like allergies can hit you at any point. Like I was totally fine. And like the idea of exposure therapy for allergies doesn't work all the time, because like I was saying, I grew up with dogs. I've been around dogs my whole life. I had him for a while and then all of a sudden I became allergic. So it's like, all right. Couple years later, hardly nothing but sniffles and congestion. Yeah, it's like it switches up on you though, right? Like your body just switches up. I know, our bodies are stupid, man. I hope you don't just like randomly develop some weird allergy. You might. But hopefully not. Happens. Your brother randomly became allergic to pistachios and mangoes. They're related some— oh, are they actually related? Interesting. So it could have been that there was always an intolerance, but it was so minor that it's like you didn't notice until eventually it just gets to a point where it's like, okay, this is bad. You have no allergies so far. Let's keep it that way. Tell your body to keep it together, dude. You become less allergic to specific cats when you're around them. The new cat shows up, you'll have an allergic reaction to it. That's also possible because potentially of the food that they eat. That's something that I was learning about as well, that you can actually feed, and this doesn't work for everybody's cat allergies, but some people's cat allergies, because of the types of proteins that they're allergic to, depending on what the cat is eating, there's like hypoallergenic cat food as well that will actually reduce the amount of like those like allergens in general. So it's kind of interesting. It's like, and another one too is like for dogs, something to do with like, you know, a quail egg versus like actual like chicken egg, different proteins, so you can have different reactions. It's kind of crazy. Like there's like a lot, like that's why you have people that are quite literally like specializing in allergies. They're allergists. But it's all like the immune system just being like, hey, yeah, let's attack this because we decided that it's bad. There's like a council that happens inside your body, and they're just kind of like, they just start to talk. You know what, guys, I've freaking had it with all this cat hair. What do you guys think? Yeah! Alright, that's it. Anytime cat hair crosses the borders of the mucous membrane, attack! New legislation passed. Now our host will never be near cats again. We're safe. I think you're just miserable because of this stupid council in your body. You think your body's a democracy, and then you realize, nah, it makes decisions without you. You're learning so much about allergies. Fun facts with Ashley. For when you understand what you understand, it builds up, and body is saying no, and mucus and all that is to wash it out. Yeah. Yeah, it can be that, but then it can also be like a switch up. Because every few years you do have like full body cell turnover, etc. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities of things to change like that. It's not like, oh, you're 7 years old, now you're going to develop a new allergy. Now you're 14 years old, you're going to develop a new allergy. It's not like that, but it is possible, like, throughout the years to have turnover. And all of a sudden, now you're a new person. Like, you know what's really crazy? Is if you... this is going to blow your mind. You're literally not even the same cells that you were when you were a kid. You're like a full new person. Almost. Fully new. Totally different. Crazy. Your memories are the only things that anchor you to that child in the past. Pollen allergy, it's actually pollen that the body fights, but the pollution in it, only 1% of the population was allergic to pollen in 1950 and 25% today. That can also come down to the fact that they might not have been testing for it. So a lot of like the studies that were done, like, you know, way back. Here's an example, like the idea of like autism rates or ADHD or any kind of like mental disorder, you know, things to do with like women's health as well. They actually weren't doing tests back then. So comparing and contrasting the rates of illnesses, of like certain illnesses and things like that from like previous eras to now can be a little bit skewed because of that as well. Stayed for the biology lesson, yeah, so when it comes to like the pollen, like I know for a fact that there are a lot of people allergic to things like ragweed, and it's not like the pollution but the ragweed itself, because then you also think like if you're allergic to ragweed, then you're also technically supposed to be allergic to chamomile because they're in the same plant family. Yeah, I mean, fun facts, man. Lots of stuff. Yeah, sculpting. If you have any questions about ZBrush, hit me up. No, I disagree with that. It's not always the chemical's fault. Quite literally, there's a lot of stuff in nature that it's just dangerous and not good to have near you as well. So you can have like you can have like food allergies, you can have allergies. Some people are actually allergic to the sun. That sucks. Huge. And it's not like the chemicals are causing that reaction, right? Like your body can quite literally just have allergies. It's not always the chemical's fault. Hey Siegfried, how's it going? Are we walking ship of Theseus? Maybe. A modified tick. They didn't release. Okay. All right. Before we start getting into like, you know, any of that, I'm not here to start dispelling a whole bunch of stuff. I'm here to sculpt. Vampires. Yeah, it does suck though. I was watching somebody talk about their experience with it the other day, like actually having that kind of a reaction to the sun. It's the UV specifically, like they can't handle UV on their skin. So they actually can't even deal with fluorescent lights because they release UV as well. So if they go to the doctors, they're literally like full clad in UV blocking like jackets and stuff, and they bring their own LED light. I was like, damn man, that's crazy. That's actually wild. Paleolithic behaviors. 50% of the population being allergic to pollen in 2050. Okay. The globalists. By them, you mean the globe. Okay. Okay, see, this is what I mean. Like, you can't start talking about, like, actual things until people start... Relax with that. That's... You guys want to start talking about how the Earth is flat too? I think that would be fun. Like, what I cite to you is not just feelings or anything. I'm not gonna talk about that. That's... You believe in what you believe in. Once you get a sketch the way that you want, do you then polygroup it, the different parts? You can use polygroups, yeah, but depends on what I'm doing. Like for fingers and stuff, I'll probably polygroup a bunch of the like joints of the fingers just so that I can get easy posing and stuff like that with it. I don't have everything as polygroups. Not really like a need to, unless like I'm gonna be posing something really close. Like if this and this were the same piece of geometry, then maybe I would have the different polygroups so that if I did take this beak and, you know, move it down, that I could easily select it again afterwards, right? Equating everything. See, you're gonna get, you guys get so like, don't start. Bro, can I just say something right now? Don't start with that. Don't, please. This is not my channel. This is the Maxon channel. I'm not gonna talk to you about conspiracy theories. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna start throwing around the globalists and stuff like that, okay? I'm not gonna talk about the island on here either. So if you keep going, I'm gonna have to ignore you and you will be, that's it. It's not gonna happen. Saw a rather funny quote the other day. Okay. All right. Do a little bit more of like a back thingy here. Actually, I kind of like the idea of like having that ridge on the back too. Boop, 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 boop. What brush is that? Snake hook? Max on stream is going crazy. Yeah, there's like different languages coming in. We've got talking about allergy. I don't know. If you have questions about sculpting, you let me know. You let me know. That was a snake hook brush. God, dude. Okay, Alakazam, you go ahead. You go ahead. You just, every single sentence that you put down, you can say globalist all you want. You're free to say whatever you want, but I am on the Max On stream right now. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about sculpting. How to use ZBrush. So if you have questions about that, feel free to ask. You're free to enjoy your globalists. You're free to say globalist as much as you want. You're free to identify as a globalist. You're free to do whatever you want with that. I'm not policing you. No one's policing you. You're still here. You have your freedom of speech. I'm just not talking about that. And if you're really upset about the fact that the streamer on the ZBrush channel is not talking to you about politics, then maybe you need to go find somewhere else to vent these frustrations. I love the internet. Got like a little hump. Kind of cute. He's got a cute face. Yay. Should give him a little tail, I think. The one that I used a few seconds ago? Oh, you mean this one? This. Yeah, this is from Pablo. So if you go to... Here, I'll show you. Here's his website. The brushes. Yeah, so it's here. This is all his stuff. It's got some great brushes. That one is a free brush that you can download from his site. It's called a GeoBrush. Which I'm assuming that's the one that you were talking about. I might even use some of his beta brushes too in this. Subject to change, obviously, but I might... He passed them along to me. He was like, here's some scales, use them. And I was like, oh, sick, dude. But I haven't used them yet, so I'm gonna probably try that out. You're gonna head out? See ya, John. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a good evening. Enjoy your peanut butters. this guy. I'm gonna make the ridges. We can like Dynamesh it at high resolution, get some more detail in there so that I can start creating like actual like eyelids and stuff. It doesn't look so crazy. Why are you still going, dude? You don't need to be so bothered over this. Just relax. Hey Forge, how's it going? Are there no mods on this Maxon stream? I don't know what I'm allowed and not allowed to ban. But in this case, it's just somebody getting upset about something and they're not, just like not, I guess, not dropping it. I don't know. It's fine. Happens more often than not. But if you do have any ZBrush questions, let me know. You have a question about array mesh? Ooh, that's not one that I use a whole bunch, but okay, hit me. That one, I rarely use the array mesh feature. An offset repeating pattern. I might not be the girl for you. The array mesh feature is not something that yeah, I know that there's like a lot of good videos on that. Like you said, a repeating offset thing, right? Like I'm pretty sure if you go to Michael Pavlovich's YouTube, he does so much array mesh stuff. Let me just grab really quick.
If I missed something.
Like you could probably find it within one of his like YouTube videos. You're just starting out with ZBrush and you're thinking about changing careers. You're almost 40. Do you think at any age could be a problem for entering the industry? Well, right now, so I don't think that you should ever be dissuaded from doing what you want to do at any age. So you can just do what you want to do, right? Like if you really like sculpting in ZBrush, then I think that you should sculpt in ZBrush. Your life is too short to not do what you want to do, right? Now, with that said, actually entering in the games industry or the animation industry right at this moment, it's a little bit on the competitive side. Not a little, it's quite on the competitive side. There's been a lot of layoffs and a lot of the more senior people are fighting with a lot of juniors as well to try and get like another job. And the layoffs kind of just keep rolling and it's a very precarious situation right now. Not to say that you can't, I don't want to say you can't, but just be aware of that as well. That you're going to be competing with like a lot of people. So if it's something that you really want to do, I say do it, like regardless of what age you're at. I don't think that there's any age to say you shouldn't start doing art. Art is art, right? Like if you want to do art, you should do art. But make sure that your bills are paid at the same time, you know? You do a lot of array mesh? He could come to your streams too. Okay. maybe it's something kind of like that. Have you ever thought about making courses? Yeah, I might in the future. We'll see. Lots of different things that are on the table. Lots of different things to consider. And lots of different things for me right now to try and finish up as well. Kind of like in between a lot of different stuff life-wise, so. But if anything, maybe like some sort of like a, you know, creature sculpting kind of a mentorship aimed more towards beginner / intermediate. Less to do with like how to get your first job and more to do with just like how to get used to sculpting in 3D. We'll see. If you could ask Ian, but you are usually just hanging and ZBrush doesn't come up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like outside of work, I'm sure you guys aren't like constantly talking about ZBrush. Like, hey, it's so good to see you. By the way, ZBrush. Hey, you want to go for lunch? ZBrush. How's my poly count going? Yeah, you just like sit down to eat your sandwich. It's just like, wonder how you would sculpt this. How would you sculpt it, Ian? Bro. I think that would drive me a little nuts. You never stop talking about ZBrush. Man, I sure love this program. let's dynamite some potatoes. Yeah. Man, there's so many different animals like combined into one here. Have you guys thought about bringing back the oh, that's how you would like you'd be like one of those people that they'd be writing off like, I don't want to hang out with that guy. I really don't want to hang out with that guy. He's gonna ask the thing again. He's gonna keep asking the thing. Free to play with microtransactions for skins. Great. Yeah, it's like the old school of like music players where you could download different skins for your music player, except it's for ZBrush. This is the the loot box for. Also, they're not doing that. They would not do that. That's insane. Loot box. ZBrush loot box. That would be insane. There's no chance. It's like what Halo did, like 3.3. They ended up doing like microtransactions for color swatches. Like, how egregious can you get? It's a competition. What am I doing right here? Winamp, yeah, man. Kangaroo, dog, goat, and probably many. Yeah, it's got a lot in there. A lot going on. You would have to do a nanomesh. You're going back to your modeling program. Fair enough. Whatever's easiest. Hacking, judging by its back legs. Brother. Brother. Don't be weird about the kangaroo goat dragon thing. Nah. Listen, leave it alone. I haven't gotten back there yet. Don't start saying it has a tumor. It's okay. Trust the process. Allow the weirdness to be there. Trust the process. Grim. Grim. Don't start diagnosing our boy or girl. Thought this was happening tomorrow? No, it's Wednesday. Wait. Yes, it is Wednesday. Oh my god, you scared me, comics. It's Wednesday. Tomorrow's my stream on my channel. This one's the Maxon stream. Spending all day installing the brushes you downloaded? Oh yeah, yeah, flip normals. If any of you used flip normals in the past, unfortunately they have to shut down their marketplace, so make sure that you go and grab any of your stuff that you might have bought. /2. Yeah, it's so if you go into your lightbox, you'll be able to find it. Brush. And then come over to the slash brushes. And then grab /2. Which you can't see because I've got my face in the way. Wait here, look, there it is. Right here. /2. Yeah, it is. Really sucks. I think everybody has until April 30 to grab their stuff, so you have time. No problem. Kind of not a fan of this. I'm gonna go back. I like what I was doing with that. not a fan of that either. I'm gonna redo these. Alright, see you, Flop. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. For dodgy spots, Emasco? Do you mean like things that are kind of like in, like if this were the, like if these two things were attached, kind of an idea, and you wanted to make sure to be able to mask in there, I would say use polygroups. Like having a separate polygroup type of a thing really goes a long way. Just let me know if that's what you mean by like dodgy spot. Hello, John. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just thinking maybe making some more legs. More legs for the leg god. Not sure if I want to though. We'll see. Don't think it would really serve much of a purpose other than, oh, it looks cool. Like, I don't think that actually, like... Eric's game? Will you share them on stream someday? Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I didn't end up finishing them. That's kind of what I have to do directly after the stream, actually. And tomorrow. So they have a little bit of a deadline to get something in. But for this stream, just doing whatever the heck this thing is. Oh my god, he has uwu legs. It's pointed inward. He's so shy. But thank you. I'm glad you like them. There's a little bit of like what's it called? The environmental aspect of them as well that I have to kind of get done. When I bend an elbow at an extreme angle, there are some distortions. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I see. So if you're doing like any kind of an like let's just take this for example. If I were to start bending right here, first and foremost, just do a soft, like you're gonna have to do like a soft kind of a transition. In terms of the mask, don't do a hard one. And then your gizmo, you're gonna want to put it right where the bone would typically be. And then you start to bend it. No matter what, you're always gonna have some sort of a strangeness that happens. So if there is an extreme angle that you're gonna be doing, you're gonna have to sculpt on top of that. So anytime that I'm posing things, I usually end up making adjustments afterwards. There's no like mask and then forget it type situation. It's not like this is a rigged model or anything. So if you do end up doing more extreme angles, try to control them a little bit with polygroups. So if that is a problem for you, you turn on your polygroup right here. You can see where you have different polygroups. You can go ahead and per joint, just select the like each specific section of like the leg or the arm or wherever that angle is going to be bent. And then Control W will create a new polygroup. That way it's easy to isolate them as well. So you could just isolate this, Control Shift to isolate, like Control Shift and click. And then you can soften the transition. Use your gizmo again, bend it, and then if you want to fix this area, you can easily isolate these parts and then just, excuse me, sorry, and then just sorry about that, just start to soften it out and resculpt in these areas so that it fits better. Does that make sense? And then same with the back here, you're gonna have to like resculpt this to some degree. Because bodies are pretty organic, like what they are organic. And any organic shape is going to have some deformation when it starts moving. Like a straight arm versus a bent arm, this whole section is going to look different because one, the bone isn't really that visible when it's straight, but now it's bent and you can see the elbow and everything is pulled tight. So you're gonna always have to do some sort of sculpting on top of any of the posing that you do. So I would recommend making some polygroups to help you with that, to help the isolation, and then fixing it afterwards. Thank you. Sorry for sneezing. Heck yeah. More arms. I can pull this one down so I can actually have two sets here. I think I might take like a really quick break. Give you guys some Monty time when I come back and then continue sculpting. Coming up on the break time. You got turned down last time because you were too old? Huh? Are you serious? If you're still, like, active, then, like, what's the problem? That's stupid. I hope you can get a puppy. That doesn't make any sense. I know you'd be able to take care of one. That's ridiculous. Like, they should be looking at people's activity level more than anything when it comes to working breeds, like, not age. There's plenty of people who are older who can handle a corgi. Okay, I'm gonna quickly take a breakerino, and I'll be back. And then we can finish this guy. You guys can see the monters. Okay. The rescue is still, it's the rescue and a not rehomed still. That's so sad, man. I'm sorry. I hope that they change their mind. That's honestly ridiculous. I don't understand that. Like, I think honestly, like, almost in a lot of situations, a home is better than a sanctuary. Like, like a rescue, like shelter type situation. All right, no problem, James. Thanks for stopping by. I'll be back in a few minutes, so for everybody else, just take a quick break, and I'll BRB. All right, Monty will be in a bit. He to take a potty break. He'll get Monty time when he comes back. When you sculpt with a alpha on a curved surface, there are some issues, but if it's on a flat plane, it's okay. How come? Because you're pulling from wherever you're viewing from. So because it's a curved surface, the sides are gonna have a stronger fall off. So if you can imagine, like if I just take a sphere and then I use my standard brush and I put like, I don't know, this, like go ahead and give it some more. So if I drag this out, on the edges it's going to fall off because it's wrapping around. So you're going to get that distortion. Here, I'll increase it. You're going to get that distortion off of the sides just because it's not flat at all. So if you had a flat surface, it will pull from everything like directly at the camera. It's a lot easier to pull from and then not have that distortion falling off on the side. So you will still have those clean edges because there is nothing like pulling it. To get around this, like if you wanted to put an alpha on a curved surface, what you can do is you can actually do a UV unwrap, like a quick unwrap of something, and then say unfold. And I can try and show you. So if I take this and then in Z plugin and we go down to UV master, I can say unwrap. Oh, we have this. So really higher, I'm gonna quickly do like an unwrap. Okay, and then now I'm gonna give it some subdivision levels because now it has a UV, and you can actually flatten this. Yes, yep, okay. Work on clone and then flatten, and then flatten it. And so now you're able to actually, in this mode, you can still drag out flat things, like flat alphas. And then when you're done, you can unflatten as well. And I think I can find like a video for you on this to do it a little bit more like streamlined. I think, here, let me grab a video for you. Like this is a good way to do like stitching and things like that. I can find it. I think Ian had a video on that. Okay, so I can't find the video right now, I'm sorry. Oh wait, here, I think this one will actually be good for you. This will probably be the same thing that I'm talking about. No, that's not the same thing. Okay, never mind. But basically, yeah, you can flatten it, do your alpha, and then unflatten, and it's not something that I do a lot, but you can get a good pattern that way if you wanted it to behave like a flat surface. Yeah, the logic. Yeah, I'm sorry. How did I add AccuCurve to the snake hook? It's the brush menu right here. So when you click on brush and you scroll down, you should see curve right here. And then you can say AccuCurve. So it's very specific to any brush that you have it selected for. It's going to just be for that brush. So whatever brush that you end up switching to, if you want AccuCurve to be on or off, you have to click it again. Hey, do you want to say hi? We didn't have Monty time when he came back. You want to say hi? Is it Monty time? Is it Monty time? Yeah. Okay, here. Yeah, I know. Oh. There we go. There we go. There's Monty time. There you are. There you are. Just for stream. No problem, James. No problem. Hey, did you have a good time outside? Hey. This is the stream dog. This is Monty boy, a corgi, and he loves saying hi every single time that we stream. He always comes on stream, and he potates. Hello, stream. If only you knew how many people were watching at any given time. Funny, because he was getting angry at somebody. Like, there was somebody when he was going outside I could hear from outside, and he started yelling. It's very specific. Like, sometimes he's fine with people, and some days he's just not having it. And today was one of those days I could hear he was just screaming about somebody existing. But that's him. He's a special little guy. Yes. Good boy. Alright. Put you on the ground now? Very good boy. Don't tell the dogs at work. How are you, Gorbulin? Yeah, good puppers. You told work that you're leaving work for a better work? Oh man! It's getting real over there. The drama. Boss man was disappointed. He's always disappointed when people leave. Yeah, I mean, that's understandable. But, you know, it's your life. And if you got a better opportunity, you take that. Really know if this makes sense. It's kind of bugging me. Like this secondary set of arms. I might like just turn it off. Yeah, I don't think I like the second set of arms. Nah, yeah, I think I'm just gonna do it this way. Alright. Posing the clavicle is a nightmare. It can be pretty tricky. There's a lot going on with the clavicle for sure. Yeah, I understand the clavicle woes. Especially when you're like raising an arm, whatever position it's in, it's gonna have a totally different look with all of the especially if you have somebody more muscular or fat and how much that overlaps. Ooh, itchy. Today is an itchy day. Let's see. This is Pablo's coming out with a Pablo Munoz Gomez, who is he's got Pablender Academy. He's coming out with a really cool set of scale brushes, and he gave them to me just to test them out. He said I could use them on stream and stuff, so I'm just like, why not? We could play around with a couple of them, show them off, see how they work. They seem really promising. Like, check this out. I really like this one, the crocodile brush. Yeah, let's give it a little bit more juice right here. Like, this is really, really neat. Right along the side here. It works really nicely. And he's got this brush pack is obviously in beta, so he might be changing a couple of things here and there as he's doing testing and letting other people test them, but just sharing that, like, pretty cool. Doing a lot of really neat stuff. armor plating, right? Like, that's really cool. That wouldn't be on the front. That would probably be something more on the back here. But look at how fast you can get that. If I, like, give it a little bit more geometry. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Maybe we'll play around with some of that. Say this was a concept sculpt for your freelance job. How much further would you take the sculpt until you sent it to the client for the first round of feedback? If I were doing concept sculpting, it depends on what the turnaround is in general and what they're expecting for that, like, because every concept job is different. There is no like set, like, this is what you have to do. So depending on like what they're laying down at first, it might really just be this rough, and I might do like little poses, and then quickly do like paint overs just to suggest hair or movement or whatever to get the idea. If that's something that they like, then we move on to something a little bit more dialed in. Sometimes you are given like a lot more of a like hard construct of like a thing to go off of, right? Like a prompt that's, you know, you might even have already like sketches and things like that given to you. So as a concept artist, you're also like designing from what has already been iterated, or like they have a very specific vision for something. So then it would be less loose and more dialed in right out the get-go. So in that case, you know, I would probably do a lot more detail, but depending on what stage of the design you are at, that's going to really dictate like how much of your concept you're just kind of sending over at like what detail level. Because again, like what you see in a lot of art books, or what you see on ArtStation, not always, right? But a lot of the time you'll end up seeing like these polished, just for the art book kind of concepts. A lot of the time, like for studio work, it can be a lot rougher just to get ideas across. There isn't always a need to have like this, you know, hyper polished final thing unless you're at that stage of the design iterative process, if that makes sense. So early on, really loose and fast. It's okay to send off things that are sketchy. Sometimes that's even actually preferred. And then as design decisions are being made, it's easier then to dial in and put more time onto one single sculpt. Yeah, I agree. Pablo's brushes are really wicked. I'm like this it's so cool, and it works so well. Like look at how seamless that is. Like it works so good. He's like, yeah, it's in beta, it might change. And I'm like, dude, what do you these are sick. Like look at this flow scale chain. Like come on, that's so cool. It's such a so like yeah, I guess it would work even better like with a morph target too. Like what the heck? Oh yeah, I guess he's got the IMMs. The VDMs for these might be interesting too. Ooh. All of these. Very nice. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is in beta, so he gave them to me just to mess around, and he was like, yeah, you can do that on stream. Obviously it's kind of like, you know, it's in beta, so things might change, but I'm just kind of pulling some stuff out, playing around with it. It was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. pretty cool. So I'll probably use them right out the gate as like just to even just like get some shapes in there. These are like spine ridges. So if I were to come over and create a lazy mouse with this. Oops. Probably do something fun here. Hell yeah. Yeah, of course it works with Sculptress. VDMs work really well with Sculptress, actually. Ooh. All right, see you, Leonard. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by. Now, for something like this, what kind of like a cool scale thing could we... I mean, these tension scale bands also look really cool. Stretched, lump, float. Look, he's got so much in this. If you aren't already following Pablo, by the way, here, I'll give you a link to his brushes. I love his brushes. You absolutely should check out his brushes. Absolutely badass. This works actually really good if I store a morph target so I can kind of come back. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I know he does updates for his brush packs. Like anytime that there is an update, he usually releases if it needs like a fix. And obviously the way that I use any of these brush packs is very like loosey-goosey. I usually don't just like drop them down and then that's that, because I like to add my own kind of like flair to it. Any like brush pack that you get, obviously if you you know, sculpt on top of it, it will kind of help make it more yours, because if you kind of only use the brush pack, then you'll end up just like having the same look that, you know, everybody else is doing. If you are using like brush packs, like it's good, like, you know, as like a finalizing thing in certain areas, but then also just to sculpt on top of it and make it your own is also important. Hey Adrian, thank you. Thank you. What was I doing? What was I doing? Let's see, what else does we have? What do we have in here? What a cool selection. Loving these. Tortoise shells. Lump clusters. Toad hide. Delicious. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. So cool. That's actually so cool. It's so nice. Yeah, I've made my own brushes. For different projects, I'll have to make different brushes and things like that. Look at that. This is just turning into a look at Pablo's brushes stream. Probably wouldn't use that there. Wait, actually, keep that more target. I already had that. Could be cool. It could be cool. Interesting. Alright. That wasn't the vibe that I was going for anyway, so I'm gonna go back. Don't mind these ridges that much. So I could probably adjust them. Fun to sculpt and get answers at the same time? Yeah, that's what these are for. When the mesh doesn't have thickness, which is a better way to move... which is the better way to move or smooth the edges? Okay, so you're saying like the one-sided geometry? If you have one-sided geometry... like this, you're saying? You want to smooth the edges of this? You can actually switch to a brush called, so if you click S, so B to bring up the brush menu, S to isolate all the brushes that start with S, and smooth cloth actually allows you, you say okay, smooth cloth will allow you to smooth the edges of that. You might have some issues like with corner geometry, but otherwise you'll still be able to smooth it. So if you have issues with that, there is also an ability to go ahead and grab your deformation. You can actually do a relax. Is it that? No. I think, yeah, you could also like relax areas. Polish by groups will smooth that out, and then you could do like a Z remesh on that so that the topology actually changes there, and then it'll be easier to smooth these areas out as well. What was the other one that I was using? I really liked that brush of his. The tension one. And this one was like... yeah. Interesting. Okay. Gotta run. All right. See you, John. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I do give names to my designs, but this one doesn't have one. You feel free. Tell me what you think its name is, and that's what it shall be. A lot of models? Yeah, I sculpt I'm constantly sculpting. Sculpt, sculpt, sculpt! Fred. This is Fred. Alright. Sure, why not? This is Fred. Anytime I hear the name Fred, I just think of like early internet, early YouTube. Hi, this is Fred! Hey, this is Fred! Zaybeast? What does that mean? Don't withhold the joke. Tell me what it means. How do I laugh along with you if you're just gonna be like, well, you're not Russian? Really not how he intended these to be used, but I'm gonna use them the way that I intend to. That's okay. It's a cursed word? Oh, it's a curse word. Why would you make me say that then? We're on a professional channel over here. Why would you make... Why would you do that? Hopefully I mispronounced it. In which case, I definitely mispronounced it, so we're safe. We're safe, it's good. The fact that I mispronounce things and you know, I'm incapable of pronouncing things correctly actually came in clutch there. We're good. It doesn't mean what I said it was, you know? Like, we're fine. No swears were had. I'm only playing with you anyways, it's fine. It's a joke. Joke, joke. Skills. Calm it down in some areas. Happen? Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Sometimes after duplicating things around, just to fix like the issues with the normals, you just need to mirror and weld it again. The background music copyrighted, non-copyrighted. That's why it's kind of Stream beats. It's just the same chill step music over and over. Some good beats. Well, it's it literally is just Stream Beats official. You like it. I'd recommend, if you really want to like hear stuff that's decent that's like this, just look up chill step. That's the genre. planet. I don't know. I don't know, man. Probably a cursed planet. Some planet that's still in some, like, in-between dinosaur era. Not quite evolved yet, maybe? Maybe ultra evolved. I don't know. Let's go back to Pablo's brushes and quickly reset this brush because I did a bunch of stuff with it. The curves. Bling! Just a quick save. The... No, we don't want that. Maybe we have some back plates. Plates with some IMMs. Let's see what kind of IMM craziness does he have going. Look at all the, oh, look at all this! Look at all these brushes! God damn. He's got so many going on. If I were to, damn, look at that. So if I end up going like full scale, we could, you know, we could technically do that. But I kind of want to use some more like randomized stuff. Let's see. Standard rigid. Let's do it. Is that because I have like a different one on? Yeah, I should just use this. Okay, that's fine. Do I ever use the shadow box? No, I don't. Brave soul you are, using the shadow box. I just don't really, like, think that way when it comes to 3D. Has its uses, obviously. There's a lot of things in ZBrush that, like, have uses, but you don't always have to use all of them. But yeah, I don't use the shadow box. Mostly use Shadowbox to start hard surface stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. No, it wouldn't work for everything, but I can definitely see it being used for hard surface. That's a very, like, old school way of doing it. Old school doesn't mean bad, by the way, but it's definitely not something that I do frequently, so I wouldn't be able to comment very much on it. I just, like, completely didn't touch, like, the whole back leg over there. Probably just repeat this guy over once it's done. Making these more velociraptor. More kind of like bird velociraptor type talons. Predator. This is kind of like a hellhoundy type dragon thing. Popping off? No worries, we're gonna be ending in 5 minutes anyways. You're not gonna miss anything. See you, Michael. Michael, I'm so sorry. Brain in sculpting mode. Brain not in the language mode. See you, Michael. Hey Al, how are you? Coming at the tail end of the stream. Thanks. Yeah, no worries. I've been pretty quiet this stream. Not been too much going on. So. Not too many shenanigans been had today. Rewatch? Hey man. Like I said, not too much happened. Too much. I'm gonna copy these beats over. Just gonna do a quick okay. Oh yeah, that. I don't think I want to have the doubles. I'm gonna delete that. I'm not a fan. Xenomorph dog or something? Yeah, it's like a... it's got a lot of animals mixed into one, that's for sure. It's... it's an experiment. I think I lost like a whole bucket load of detail when I did that. Let me just undo a few more times. No, you need to... one more time. 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 One more. There we go. High resolution. Did I reference it? No, we just kind of came up with it. It's just a amalgamation of creature. I want to test Pablo's new scale brushes that he has coming out, so it's like, oh, we can do something scaled. That's so, like, the deer thing just added scales. All right. Well, it's mostly there. Didn't finish it, but it's mostly there. Yeah, so I'm gonna end here. It's 10 p.m. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you want to follow this channel, Max on ZBrush, wherever you're watching, there's a lot of other artists that stream almost every day of the week here, and you'll be able to catch a whole bunch of different workflows as well. Here, I'll just like, I'll put them, I'll put this dude around town here so you can see him in his different angles before I do my spiel. All right, there we go. All right, so that's the dude. Yeah, so I'm gonna be live tomorrow on my channel. It's a different vibe. I'm usually a lot sillier. Just because it's my own channel, I get to do whatever the heck I want, right? This is the ZBrush channel, so if you're interested in watching a whole bunch of other people do ZBrush sculpts and do them for a bunch of different workflows, definitely follow Max on whatever channel that you're watching, be it Twitch or YouTube. My links for my socials are right here. Feel free to follow me on any of my socials. Instagram is the one that I'm usually posting tons of whips on. I'm kind of bad with the other ones, but I usually try to at least announce when I'm going live. So follow me on those, and tomorrow on my stream, which I will also link for you, if that is your fancy, you can come hang out with me tomorrow at 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. EST. All right? Otherwise, I will see you in the next Max on stream, which is going to be probably in 2 weeks from now. So what is that? That is going to be April the 1st. It's not going to be a joke, though. Unless... Alright, guys. Thank you so much. Good night. Have a good evening. Eat good dinner. Or breakfast, or wherever it is for you.